a bad day, huh?
Better than most.
Going to voluntary therapy?
Yeah, I gotta see an onerologist.
No, waterologist? Let me see. What'll they think up next, huh?
Excuse me, do you know where Willamette Tower East is? Dr. Haber?
First floor, second elevator, please.
Hold it. Hello?
Yes?
I have an appointment with Dr. Haber.
Name, please.
George Orr.
Yes, Dr. Haber's expecting you. It's the last office on the right. You can hang your rain gear over there.
Thank you.
Doctor, it's the overdose.
Yes?
Dr. Haber?
Ah, Mr. Orr. It's a pleasure to meet you. Come in. Won't you have a seat? Do you smoke? The brown filters are tranks, the white are D-Nicks.
Oh, no, thank you. I don't smoke.
Good. It's stuffy enough in here already. Damn electric heating system's on the fritz again, I'm afraid.
Well, that's okay.
Don't be nervous, Mr. Orr. Your punishment's no worse than a few sessions with me. That's better. Do you have your VT card?
Oh, yes, sir.
So, mixing phenobarbital and dexedrine. Quite a dangerous concoction, wouldn't you say? Mr. Orr? You have a dream problem, don't you?
How did you know?
No great feat. I'm an onerologist, Mr. Orr, a dream specialist. They always send the dreamers to me.
Well, all I want is to stop dreaming.
May I call you George?
Yeah, I guess.
Call me Bill if you like.
Oh, that's okay.
However you feel comfortable.
Dr. Haber, what are we supposed to do here?
We're going to work together. We're going to build a relationship. You're going to let me inside, poke around, find out what's causing those bad dreams of yours. I assume that's what the problem is, bad dreams.
Sort of.
Why don't you tell me about them?
You'd think I was insane.
I make no judgments, George. I'm here to help you, and that's all. Give it a try.
Suppose I dream that there's no Dr. Haber. Now, tomorrow when I wake up, not only are you gone, but you never existed.
Pretty revealing, wouldn't you say?
Oh, well, no, I didn't mean that. Personally.
Perfectly okay. You can tell me to go to hell if you like. It's part of building our trust.
I didn't mean that.
I'd like you to lie down now, George.
What?
It's all right, go on. It's all right, George. Just relax. Lie back. Now, I want you to take deep breaths and close your eyes.
Patient George Orr, age 32, voluntary therapeutic treatment, drug abuse. Reasonably good health, slightly undernourished, passive, repressed. Maybe an intelligent schizophrenic. You relaxed now?
Yes.
Good. Now, I'd like you to tell me more about these dreams that change reality. And think back to the first one. How old were you?
17. I was 17. Yeah. I was still living at home. And Aunt Ethel, my mother's sister, was living with us. She was getting a divorce. She'd been there about 6 weeks. And she was always in the way. She drove everybody crazy. She kept making a joking play for me. She was 30, kind of sexy. It got me uptight. I mean, she was always trying to turn me on. Then one night, while we were watching television, something happened. How could I have done it? She was my aunt, for God's sake. I used to have these dreams about her. And that night I had a really vivid dream. And then, when I woke up in the morning, Aunt Ethel wasn't living with us. She never had lived with us. A telegram had come from Los Angeles. My mother was crying. Aunt Ethel had been killed in a car crash. That was it. It was my first effective dream.
And nobody else noticed that Aunt Ethel had suddenly vanished?
My dreams change everything that comes before them. And nobody knows it but me. I killed her.
George, I want you to understand something. There is a difference between what you dream and what you do.
But not from me. It's the same thing. And I can't control
What you can control is all of this guilt and anxiety. And that's exactly what we'll be working on together in the next few sessions.
Dr. Haber, you gotta help me.
George, if I thought you were about to lose your balance, I wouldn't let you out of here so quickly, believe me. What I will do is give you a prescription from a probamate. That will keep your dreams low-keyed without repressing the dream state entirely. But it's only temporary. I expect to see you back here, same time, next week.
I didn't mean to kill her.
Mr. Orr. Infraction of federal regulations controlling dispensation of medication at auto drugstores. It says here you've begun voluntary treatment with the Dr. William Haber, correct?
Yes.
You've surrendered your pharmacy card to the authorities?
Yes. Only I have a prescription from Dr. Haber. Have it back here. Here it is.
All right. I'll have to issue you a temporary pharmacy card. But don't abuse it. As is your right, if you have any complaints, here's an HEW approved list of public investigators. Any other complaints?
Just with my dreams.
Not my jurisdiction. Next.
You gonna use that on me?
Correct. Now, in layman's terms, this is what happens. First, I'm going to hypnotize you and put you to sleep. Now, you'll go through several stages of sleep, the final one being the dream state, or REM sleep. Now, the augmenter here will pass you quickly through those first stages and lock you into REM sleep. And that'll allow me to hold you there while I watch your brain at work.
My brain?
Mm-hmm. Then, I'll suggest a dream to you. In your case, an effective dream.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Oh, the augmenter changes nothing, George. Miss Crouch, could you bring Mr. Orr a consent to hypnosis form, please? Thank you. Do you trust me, George?
Okay.
Good. Now, I'd like you to lie back and get comfortable. Now, is this comfortable? Yeah. Picking up a nice, healthy signal from your brain. You see the top screen here? Those are your theta rhythms. Nice, healthy thetas.
He's only a 3 on the susceptibility scale. We could be here all afternoon.
I'm going to perform VC induction. Make a note of it.
See that you're not disturbed.
Now, George, I'd like you to relax. I'd like you to look up at the ceiling. You don't have a simple brain, my friend. Nor a crazy one. Now, you're beginning to get sleepy, George. Very relaxed. So relaxed you can't move a muscle. Your eyelids are very heavy. You are going to go to sleep now, George. And while you're sleeping, you'll have no trouble hearing my voice. And you will wake up when you hear me call your name 3 times. You are going to sleep now. Can you hear my voice, George?
Mm-hmm.
Good. No sigmoid jags usually prevalent in schizophrenic personality types. Sleep patterns, normal. You're beginning to dream now, George. REM patterns, unusual. Something very unusual here in the whole Pontine area. When I say the word Antwerp, you are going to have a dream that I suggest to you. It will be a pleasant, vivid dream about a horse in a meadow. Beautiful sight. It will be a good dream, George. An effective dream about a horse. Antwerp. George. Feel okay?
Yeah.
Well, you did dream, my friend. That much I can tell you. What was it about?
A horse. It was about a horse. That one.
What about it?
Don't you notice anything unusual about that picture?
Oh, some people find it a bit overwhelming. You know what Freud said about horses, staircases, and cigars?
Was it here an hour ago?
An hour ago?
Yes, wasn't that a picture of Mount Hood when I came in?
Mount Hood?
Yeah, I remember it, don't you?
George, that is Tammany Hall, the Triple Crown winner.
No, I'm not insane. I know I'm insane. I know I'm not insane. It's enough to drive me insane.
Back up, George. Dreams are not harmful. For instance, daydreams can be wonderful. I have them all the time. I dream heroics. I save the girl or the whole damn planet. Haber saves the world.
Yeah, I daydream sometimes that I have a cabin by the ocean.
That's nice. What does that tell you about yourself?
That I'm a masochist. Nobody can afford a cabin by the ocean anymore.
You know what I'd like to see, George? I'd like to see you learn to use your dreams. Now, doesn't that strike you as a nice idea?
I don't know.
Well, we'll work on it. You're feeling very sleepy, George. Very relaxed. You're going to sleep in a moment. Now sleep, George. Sleep. In a moment, I am going to suggest a dream to you. And you will dream that dream. You're going to have a very good dream, George. Beautiful sunshine. No smog. No rain. Antwerp. What the hell is he doing? The augmenter is not doing that.
you all right?
Yes. Yes, of course. Get me Portland weather on the line.
Yes, Doctor.
George. What did you dream, George?
Oh, it was an effective dream, I can tell you that. They wear me out.
Can you recall it?
Yes. I was having a picnic on Mount Hood in the rain with Genghis Khan. And his umbrella leaked. And then the sun came out.
I have weather on line 2, Doctor.
Miss Crouch, scheduled Mr. Orr for noon tomorrow. Can you make it, George?
Yes, but why
Good.
should...
Good. It has actually stopped raining. All right, George, go on now. I'll see you tomorrow.
This is the weather report for Portland, the Sunshine City. The temperature is 105 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius. Humidity is 8%. The barometer is 29.80 and steady.
I say it's because of all this sunshine. We were better off when it rained all the time. Isn't that the truth?
He knows. He knows. Son of a bitch knows.
I'm not insane, am I?
No, of course you're not.
God, why didn't you tell me back in the office?
George, I thought we had a very good session this afternoon.
Extraordinary, really.
But don't you think we can continue this tomorrow?
No, wait a minute. You're acting like nothing happened.
Oh, a great deal happened, but let's not make more of it than it is. We have a long way to go.
My dream stopped the rain.
George, it hasn't rained in Portland since 2 years ago, last Easter.
Why are you doing this to me?
One cardinal rule of therapy, George. Never hand the patients the answers on a silver platter. Now, you must work for them, otherwise they're meaningless.
The sun is out. It stopped raining.
Yes. It's beautiful, isn't it?
You told me to dream a sunny day, and I did. Now you admit it.
George, it's impossible to correct a defective reality orientation overnight. Now, we're making real progress. I'll see you tomorrow.
But if you...
Tomorrow!
Or,
Yes.
Heather Rush, won't you be seated? Was this an accident?
What?
Your overdose?
No. Yes.
My legal advice is agree to the psychiatric treatment, and you won't be prosecuted or persecuted for that matter.
But the therapy scares me.
Oh, come on, Mr. Orr.
I don't mean to cause Dr. Haber any trouble. I'm sure he means well. I'd just like another psychiatrist.
No, not without real cause. I mean, they're not going to take a patient's word against the doctor's. Not in a case like this.
You mean a mental case?
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Lelache. I'm sorry to have bothered you.
One moment. I didn't say you didn't have a case. It's just that, well, you haven't told me anything yet.
If I told you what was really going on, you'd think I was crazy.
I'm a civil liberties lawyer, Mr. Orr. If you have something to say, you'd better say it.
He's not an evil man. Now, he means well. It's just that I'm in a position to be used by him like an instrument. Now, he can't do that, even if his aims are good. Nobody can play God. But he doesn't realize that. That's why I tried taking drugs to suppress my dreams. I just want to get cured.
Of drugs?
Of dreaming.
You know what the hell you're talking about.
Miss Crouch, I'd like you to do some research for me. Use the computer link up to the Library of Congress in the lobby. Do you think the others will mind?
No, I don't think so. Almost everyone's gone to lunch.
Good. I'd like you to get me as much information as possible on the effect of dream symbology in pre-Columbian culture.
I may be a while.
Take as much time as you need. Be very thorough, Miss Crouch.
Yes, Doctor.
Listen carefully, George. You and I are about to embark upon a magnificent collaboration. We are going to make history today. Using your gift, I'm going to do what no politician, no scientist, no philosopher has ever done. I'm going to make the whole world right. We need an institute, the William Haber Institute of Oneirology. Antwerp. Take it easy. Don't sit up so fast. Oh, no. Something wrong, George?
Doctor,
Ah, Miss Crouch.
I have that research information you wanted, Dr. Haber.
That didn't take you any time at all, did it? Amazing what computers can do.
Is there anything else, Dr. Haber?
Yes, I'd like you to schedule Mr. Orr for noon tomorrow.
I can't make it.
Yes, Doctor.
I can't make it
Why not?
because I have a job. Now, I can't keep coming here. They'll fire me.
Your therapy is more important than your job. In any case, the Institute will clear you.
Look, don't give me that institute stuff now. I know what's going on here.
Aha! A little active resistance. It's a good sign, George. Let it out.
Look, you don't know what you're doing. Now, you change one
You see,
thing,
you're not really resisting me. You're resisting your own self-examination. It happens in every therapeutic situation.
Look, I am not going to do this anymore.
George, I had hoped that your motivation for being here would be better by now. What about getting well?
Yeah, well, what about it? You tell me.
I am going to cure you, George. You have my word on that. You must believe me.
I would like to believe you, Dr. Haber. I really would.
Good. Then we have something in common.
Why doesn't this Dr. Haber just come right out and say that he knows you have effective dreams?
I think he's waiting to find out more before he lets me know what's going on.
Can't say that I blame him.
The thing that bothers me is what he'll do next.
What do you mean?
Unlimited power means unlimited danger.
Well, according to you, he's only changed one painting in the weather.
Not to mention the small improvements to his office. Then there's the cabin.
What cabin?
I have a 10-year lease on a cabin overlooking the ocean.
You do?
I won it in a government lottery. Can I buy you lunch?
Well, I'd really like to help you, Mr. Orr. But what am I supposed to do if you keep changing reality all the way back to the Stone Age and then destroying the evidence?
Well, I wouldn't expect you to believe me without evidence.
Well, thank God.
Well, what I'd like is for you to come to a session.
Doubtful, without good cause.
Well, what am I supposed to do? I mean, let this guy keep treating me like an experimental animal while he goes around tinkering with...
Did you say experimental?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, Haber says he's still working on it.
Have you signed anything, any releases, anything beyond the VT forms and consent to hypnosis?
I don't think so.
You've got a case.
I do?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Well, let's just get one thing straight. This doesn't mean I believe a word of your story. All it means is if I can prove this thing is experimental, then maybe, just maybe, I can get you switched to another shrink.
Then you'll come to a session.
But not as your lawyer. I'll arrange to come as an HEW impartial observer on an investigation of that thingamajigger, okay?
Dr. Haber.
Yes, Penny.
This just arrived, the population report you wanted.
Oh, yes.
Dr. Mergen called on a consultation.
Tell him I'm too busy.
And this notice from HEW. They're sending an observer this morning to look at the augmenter.
What? Damn bureaucrats. Why don't they mind their own business?
Oh, and Mr. Orr is here, Doctor.
Well, George, you're early today. Something of a breakthrough, I'd say, considering you're usually 15 minutes late.
I am?
So how are you feeling today?
So-so?
How can anyone feel so-so on a magnificent day like this?
Well, you know what the Greeks say. Moderation in all things.
So what would you like to talk about today?
Oh, I don't care.
Do you have somewhere to go, George?
Oh, no, I'm just anxious to get started.
Well, another breakthrough. 2 in 1 session. Shall we try for 3? Yes, what is it?
Miss Lalache from HEW is here.
All right, sit down. Seems that my fame has brought me to the attention of the HEW. They're sending an observer to make sure my work with the augmenter is on the up and up. Isn't that ridiculous?
Dr. Haber, this is Heather Lalache.
Pleasure to meet you, Miss Lalache. Won't you have a seat right here?
I assume you were informed I'd be recording the proceedings?
Perhaps you'd better ask the patient's permission. Mr. Orr, this is Miss Lalache of HEW.
Do you mind, Mr. Orr?
No, go ahead.
Very well. Dr. Haber, is the patient diagnosed as neurotic or psychotic?
The patient's diagnosis is not for public record, Miss Lalache. I'm surprised at you. Besides, it's my augmenter that interests you, right? Well, anyway, you know what they say. Neurotics build castles in the sky, psychotics live in them.
And psychiatrists collect the rent.
Very good. Very good, Miss Lalache. Well,
Have you any questions before we start?
Can you explain the role of your device?
Yes, of course. My augmenter here merely ensures that my patient will dream by instigating and reinforcing his own dream state activity. What do you say, George? Shall we run off a dream?
Okay.
Incidentally, Mr. Lash, this will constitute a record for your people that my augmenter does not loosen toenails, harden arteries, blow your mind, or have any ill effects whatsoever. Standard hypnotic procedure, Miss Lelange. Though a bit disconcerting to the uninitiated, I will admit. Please turn your recorder off. A therapy session is not for public record. Notice the accelerated pulse and the rapid eye movements. He's ready to accept a suggested dream. Now, George, the last time you were here, you were telling me about something that bothered you very much. You said you felt restricted and closed in on the subway, in your office, in the streets. Do you remember the word you used?
What did he say?
Overpopulation. That's what he said. Now, George, when I say the word Antwerp, you are going to have an effective dream about this thing that bothers you, this overpopulation. You are going to dream about space, about all the elbow room in the world. You'll feel uncrowded, unsqueezed, and this overpopulation thing will not be a problem anymore. Antwerp. What has he done? 6 billion people.
All the people. All the people.
George.
George. George. You had a bad one, George.
Where are they? Where are the people?
You dreamt about the plague.
Plague?
But it's all over now. All of us who survived are genetically resistant.
What plague?
Oh, my God. I just killed 6 billion people.
I'm afraid this is the first time Mr. Orr has handled anxiety in a dream. It's not always pleasant.
I don't understand what's happening.
Don't you remember the plague?
Of course we do. I lost my parents, my 2 sisters. I watched them die. None of us could ever forget it. But it's over now, George. The plague ended 5 years ago, and we are the survivors. Life must go on.
You remember the plague, don't you? And don't you remember that you never heard of the plague until just now? That there wasn't any plague until an hour ago? You remember? Don't you remember?
Mr. Marsh is hardly qualified to comment upon your session. She's only an observer. I'm afraid he's a bit agitated. It has been a difficult time. Perhaps we'd better adjourn.
Yes.
I shall send you a full report of the augmenter's operation and current uses. That should take care of it. I'm sorry you found this distressing, Mr. Lash. But you hit a real crisis session. Goodbye. Thank you.
Well, we really did it this time, didn't we?
Come away from the window, George.
You saw it. She saw it. 6 billion people wiped off the face of the earth.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to be straight with me.
Why don't you go home, George?
Admit it! Take responsibility for it!
Oh, I see. You're trying to transfer it all to me. You want me to take responsibility for your problem. Well, I can't do that, George. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had a bad dream, George. But it was your dream. It came from you, from inside of you.
You're cracking up. Surely you can see that. You're a psychiatrist. I'm going to pieces here. You asked me to dream again, and what kind of world are we going to get? Maybe a totally insane one? Full of monsters? Demons or witches? Dragons? All the things that we carry around inside us, all the nightmares, the fears. What's going to happen when that gets loose on the world?
Are you quite finished? Your negative approach to
It's your positive approach that's the danger. Solve the population problem. See what happens. Don't you see that these things aren't problems? They don't have answers that you can find in your arithmetic book.
Defeatism. We were put here to make the world a better place.
Your attempts to use my dreams to make the world a better place can destroy it. It's not so hard to destroy the world, Dr. Haber. We did it. 4 years ago, April.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't think that you can outthink God.
You're worn out, George. You'd better go home and get some rest. The session's over.
You?
Go home, George.
I don't know where home is anymore. acting like nothing happened. My dream stopped the rain.
George, it hasn't rained in Portland since 2 years ago, last Easter.
My God. I just wiped out 3/4 of the world's population.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to be straight with me.
Why don't you go home now, George?
God, why are you doing this to me?
George, what are you doing?
I want the truth.
Well, come up to my office. We'll discuss it.
We'll discuss it right here.
All right. If you insist. I suppose I should have told you earlier, George. I just wanted time to sort things out. Yes, I know about your dreams. I've known for quite some time.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Haber. For being honest.
You have a great gift, George. Together we can learn to use it.
You can't use my dreams to change things. Haven't you learned that yet?
Isn't that the purpose of man on Earth? To act, to change things, to run things, to build a better world.
No.
What then?
I don't know. I don't know. Things don't have purposes. I don't know if life has a purpose. I can't say that it matters. It is. We are. I want to stop.
George, I know that I can learn to harness your power, but you must give me time.
It's no use. We haven't got the right.
We have a duty. Why do you resist? Why do you fear your own power?
Because it doesn't work. You change one thing and everything changes. The plague didn't solve anything. We're closer to war now than we ever have been. I can't let you use me anymore.
George, you need me, George. You know that. Without me, you're out of control.